Here's a quick lesson of 5 IELTS adjectives that we use to talk about the environment. How many do you think you know? Let's find out. So let's get started with this list of words. I only have 5 in this lesson, so it's a quick lesson for you. So let's get right into it. Adjective number 1 is biodegradable. Biodegradable. Now, this is a very important adjective to use nowadays when we talk about climate change and saving the earth, right? These kinds of very green topics. So biodegradable means something that is capable of being broken down by natural processes and returning safely to the environment. Now, what do I mean by that? What I mean is, for example, paper. So if we use a paper cup, for example, and then we finish the cup, we throw it away. Now that cup maybe is buried into the ground. Well, with natural process and over time, the earth will break down this paper cup and bring it back into the earth, right? It disappears over time. But if we use something like a plastic bottle, that could take a long, hundreds of years to be broken down into the ground. So it's not very biodegradable. So something like paper is biodegradable. The earth takes it back, breaks it down. But plastic is not a biodegradable product, which is a reason why we don't want to use a lot of it, right? We try to use as little of it as we can. So, for example, if you go to the grocery store, your supermarket, you might have the option of using a plastic bag or a paper bag, right? So you might choose the paper bag because, like I said, paper packaging is biodegradable, whereas plastic is not. Another example, like maybe you're having a picnic and you're going to have some utensils like forks or knives or spoons or bowls even. So maybe instead of choosing something that's plastic and not very biodegradable, you can choose a biodegradable product like paper plates or maybe those kind of bamboo made forks and spoons. Because if they are thrown away and buried into the ground, they biodegrade quickly. Much better for the environment in the long term. So some examples. The city law requires all supermarkets to offer biodegradable bags instead of plastic ones. Using biodegradable cleaning products can help protect water quality in rivers and lakes. So even chemicals can be more biodegradable than other kinds of chemicals. Second word, irreversible. 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 Now, irreversible means it cannot be reversed, or something cannot go back to its original state. So meaning that something cannot be undone or changed, and it refers to being permanent. There's like permanent damage and permanent effects. So we usually use this word when we talk about like deforestation, right? So deforestation is when companies will go in and they just chop down an entire forest, all the trees, and the trees don't grow back, right? It's irreversible. Okay. Now, also, there are places in the world that have been overfished, where one kind of fish has been fished out of the ocean or this part of the ocean, and it never comes back. It's irreversible. So a lot of damage in the world environmentally can be irreversible, and that's very tragic for the future, right? So imagine a factory that dumps its toxic waste into a river for years and years and years. This pollution harms the ecosystem, kills all the animals, wipes out the fish, and it may never come back. So we could say that this pollution is irreversible. Irreversible. So some examples. The deforestation of rainforests has led to irreversible losses in biodiversity, animals, plants. Some argue that the melting of the polar ice caps will lead to a rise in ocean levels. This is an irreversible trend. So if all of the ice caps in the North Pole, South Pole melt, ocean might rise. Ice caps may never come back. Maybe they could one day, but it could be millions of years. We're not sure. So it very well could be irreversible. Number 3, efficient. Efficient. Efficient describes something that works well, and we use it for resources like time, energy, or money. We use them in the best way, and we don't waste them. So we use time in the best way. We use resources, workers, money in the best way. We don't waste. It's efficient. So think about a car that runs on electricity. So there's EVs now, electric vehicles, instead of gas. Electric vehicles are much more efficient because the energy that's created, they can use most of that energy that's created. Whereas in a gasoline car, a lot of the energy is wasted. A lot of the heat is wasted. So they're not as efficient as electric vehicles. So we can say electric vehicles are more efficient. Think about your school or your office. Have you noticed they installed LED lights in the school, right? And these LED lights are much more energy efficient. They use less energy, but they give you the same amount of light. So they might save money. They use less power. It's good for everyone, right? So these LED lights are efficient. Okay, some examples here. The new wind turbines are highly efficient, protecting more energy than older models. The team is very efficient. They manage time well and finish tasks quickly. Number 4, essential. Essential. Essential means absolutely necessary and extremely important. So we often use this when we're discussing things that are important for survival or success. Okay, something is essential. So for example, environmentally speaking, clean water is essential for human health, right? That makes sense. Okay, so imagine living in a place where water is not clean and it's polluted. Okay, so people become unhealthy, people become sick. So we argue that clean water is essential for human health, for being healthy. Another example are animals like bees, right? Bees are essential to agriculture and helping crops grow. They pollinate crops. So if we didn't have bees around, we might have a drop in agricultural efficiency. Farmers would have a harder time growing things, right? So bees are essential in growing crops and in farming. Okay, some examples. Reducing greenhouse gas emissions is essential for slowing down climate change. Trees play an essential role in maintaining air quality and preventing soil erosion. And number 5 of the 5 quick list is endangered. Endangered. Now, endangered refers to species or ecosystems that are in serious risk of disappearing, of becoming extinct. And it's a real important word when we're talking about wildlife conservation and plant conservation. So imagine a tiger whose population is dropped to lower than 100. And we would consider that tiger to be endangered, because if it doesn't, if the other tigers don't have new baby tigers in the future, the species could disappear. The same thing is true for the ocean, like coral reefs in the ocean. So they are becoming more and more endangered because the temperature of oceans is rising. There's more ocean pollution, and this kills coral. So we could say that some corals are endangered of disappearing forever. So some examples. The panda is one of the most famous endangered species, and efforts to protect its habitat have been ongoing for decades. So the panda has been endangered a long time, but As far as I'm alive, as long as I've been alive, it's still around. Conservationists are working to save endangered marine species like sea turtles and whales from extinction. Okay, so there you have it, our 5 quick IELTS adjectives. Real quick review here. Number 1, biodegradable. 2, irreversible. 3, efficient. 4, essential. 5, endangered. And for my question of the week, I'd like you to let me know in the comment box what are some biodegradable products that you try to use in your life. So biodegradable means that these products will not stay around the earth for a very, very long time, that the earth will break them down and they'll go back into the earth. So paper, wood, these kinds of things. What biodegradable products do you try to use in your life? Okay, everybody? So I'll see you in the next lesson. Bye-bye.